Have you ever tried to weigh an ant? If you're like most people, you're actually doing it every single day. We weigh ants when we expect that our brand new business idea will topple Amazon overnight. Or, here's a good one, when we hope that a single week at the gym will result in 10 pounds of weight loss. Or when we commit to learning a new language and then expect to be fluent after a month. We all do this, weighing ants. We're all taking the tiniest wins and accomplishments of our lives and we're throwing them on these huge scales, expecting to see the needle move. We look ridiculous, of course. Trying to measure ounces of daily progress in pounds is a recipe for despair. But we seem so stuck in this habit. And we are missing out. We're missing out on learning. We're missing out on succeeding. We're giving up entirely thinking that we are not good enough. The news and social media have played a part in this. We're constantly bombarded with stories of investors and entrepreneurs going from nothing to millionaires overnight. And we don't like admitting to our slow progress, failures, and worst of all, our insecurities. Who wants to talk about those? They make us feel frustrated, disappointed. And you know what? Sometimes even embarrassed. It's easier to keep quiet or to fake it, not realizing that that's what many others are doing. And then we compare our accomplishments to each other's and feel lousy and insecure because we know that our success story isn't the full truth, but the other guy. Oh, now he's got it all figured out, right? He sets on his Facebook page. Consequently, these seemingly large successes being accomplished by others have programmed our thoughts and desires to want and expect the same kind of results in our own lives. We've started to measure our progress on an oversized scale. Imagine for a moment that this very stage is a scale. It's big enough to weigh a car, right? But do you think it would register anything at all if I put an ant on it? What about 1,000 ants? Do you think it would register anything then? Okay. What about 1,000 ants jumping up and down? It's unlikely that a scale this size will register the ants at all, but that's what we're all doing. We're achieving things in small, nearly invisible increments, but then expect them to register on a scale the size of a TED stage. And we feel like failures when they don't. Carl Weick is an organizational theorist. He talks about the importance of small wins. What are small wins? Small and wins don't seem to go together without some conscious effort on our part. But he says that small wins have a transformational power, and that once a small win has been accomplished, forces are set in motion to favor another small win and another small win, until the combination of these small wins lead to larger and greater accomplishments. But what does that actually mean? It means that losing an ounce of weight puts us on the path to losing a pound, and then 2 pounds, and then who knows, maybe even 100 pounds. It means that adding 2 new words to our vocabulary in a new language does put us on the road to fluency. And it means that selling a few books online can set the foundation to become the largest online retailer or to topple it. But the weight of these individual small wins isn't significant enough to be detected on our oversized scales. And when we don't see any changes, we get discouraged. We think it's us, that we're not good enough. And we give up. Real progress is the combination of slow, small, and steady steps, repeated over and over again. It doesn't look like much when it's happening. It's more closely related to our habitual behaviors than to our achievements. In her TED Talk, Elizabeth Gilbert, the author of Eat, Pray, Love, talks about her struggle with publishing another book after her massive success, feeling that whatever she published next wouldn't be good enough. The way she found the inspiration to keep publishing was by remembering her journey as a writer, her days of working as a waitress and trying to get published, and how for 6 years she kept getting rejection letters. What kept her going at the time was focusing on what she loved the most, writing, despite the results that she was getting. And that's how she found her way back to writing after her big success. She said, "Your home is that thing to which you can dedicate your energies with such singular devotion that the ultimate results become inconsequential." Gilbert focused on habitual behaviors and smaller progress scales to help her regain the inspiration and creativity after her big success. She focused on the process, not the results. And then there's Martin Pistorius, the author of Ghost Boy. Now, his decision to use small scales to measure his progress gave him a second chance at life and made him the New York Times best-selling author. When he was a child, Pistorius got a brain infection that made him completely paralyzed for a decade. And eventually, when he started to regain his awareness, he realized that he was trapped inside a body that wouldn't respond to any of his commands. So he couldn't let anybody know that his awareness was back, that he could feel, he could understand. In a BBC interview, he used his computer to say, "Success is strange in that it cultivates more success. Once I had achieved something, it encouraged me to try even harder. It expanded my perception of what was possible. If I could do this, then what else could I do?" In my case, when I was a child, I had a condition called selective mutism. It's a severe social anxiety disorder that impacts your ability to speak in certain social settings, like at school or around people you don't know. And I remember many, many awkward situations where I was asked questions, or I was expected to speak, but words wouldn't come out of my mouth. It doesn't matter how much I wanted to talk. If my parents were around, I whispered in their ears, and they spoke for me. And it's taken me years of taking small steps, trying, failing, and trying again to become more comfortable in social settings. So today, standing before you on a TED stage is an accomplishment that's the result of all those small wins that I decided not to ignore. Where in your life do you need to recognize the small achievements? Focusing on progress helps us keep moving forward. Doesn't matter where we are in our journey. Wins, no matter how big or small, are just one more thing to throw on the scale that's sensitive enough to detect them. Harvard Business School professor Teresa Amable talks about the importance of detecting our small wins. She says that keeping a work diary helps us to reflect on our days, keep track of all those small little achievements that normally go unnoticed, and use this reflection as a tool to plan our next step. Because seeing progress, doesn't matter how small, keeps us happy, motivated, and productive. But the thing is, most of us have hectic work schedules and we don't get a chance to reflect on our day. So keeping a work diary forces us to sit down, reflect on the daily happenings, and helps us to detect and celebrate our small wins, even on those frustrating days that we don't think we got a lot done. Not only that, it also helps us to work through difficulties and to find weak areas that we need to work on. But it's too easy to dismiss our small wins when we're facing setback. In fact, research shows that the negative effect of setbacks is 2 to 3 times stronger and more powerful than the positive effect of progress. So even the smallest setbacks and negative events can bring us down and focus our energies and attentions on them. So it's helpful to have a few people in our lives, whether they're coaches, close friends, or partners, who can remind us of our small wins when we can't seem to remember them ourselves. When I was younger, my mother used to tell me, "Gambate, Mehrnaz, gambate." Gambate is a Japanese phrase used as an encouragement, meaning to stick with it or try your best. She passed away 6 years ago, but today, every time I feel like I'm not making a lot of progress, or when I feel like I need the encouragement to be brave or to keep going, I imagine her telling me, "Gambate," and that brings me back to focusing on my habits and readjusting my progress scale. Working towards mastering something is a never-ending loop, because learning is a never-ending process. The process starts with defining a vision, building habits, and learning strategies. This path emphasizes practice, effort, patience, and concentration. It's how one reaches their highest potential. So it doesn't matter whether you're winning or losing, or how fast, how slow you're seeing results. Instead of focusing on the outcome, strive for improvement and work to better your craft. This way, every morning when you wake up, you know that you're a better version of yourself today than you were yesterday. In my work as an educator, I've noticed that an effective way to adopt smaller scales to measure our progress is by setting goals that lead to consistent action. Because we all know what goals without actions are called, right? New Year's resolutions. They're wishes. There are 4 steps to this action-packed goal setting. Step 1. Have a clear vision of what it is exactly that you want to accomplish. Now, your vision doesn't have to be something big and complicated. It can be something simple or personal, like wanting to lose weight, wanting to learn a new language, wanting to build a successful business. Whatever it may be specific. But once you've set your vision, don't focus on it. Knowing exactly what you want will set your final destination. But then you want to bring the focus back to where you are so that you can plan the journey. Step 2. Break down your big vision into 3 to 4 smaller achievable goals so that you can see the individual components you need to work on to get you closer to that vision. For weight loss, for example, you may want to focus on your eating habits, sleeping habits, meditating, and exercising. For business and career growth, you may want to focus on your communication skills, your networking, and keeping up to date with the developments in your field. Step 3. Focus each individual smaller goal on the process of learning, mastery, and improving. Now, the improvements won't look like much when they're happening, so keep a work diary and look back on your journey on a weekly or a monthly basis so that you can see how far you've come and how much you've accomplished. And finally, step 4. As good as it feels to receive social acknowledgement, don't announce your big and important goals to anyone and everyone. Instead, select 1 or 2 people who can act to remind you of your small wins when you need the encouragement, and focus your goal talks with them on the process of working hard and making improvements. Why am I telling you this? Research shows that when we share our big and important goals with other people, as soon as we receive social acknowledgement and social recognition, our brains are tricked into thinking that we've already accomplished that goal. So we become less likely and less motivated to pursue those activities that get us closer to achieving it. Let's do a recap. Step 1, have a clear vision. Step 2, Break down your vision into 3 to 4 smaller, achievable goals. Step 3, focus each goal on the process of learning, mastery, and improving. And finally, step 4, select 1 or 2 people to act as your support. You will notice that once you get this 4-step process right, you will build the habits that will automatically lead you to your big vision without you having put the focus on it. At some point, we've all missed out on learning and succeeding because we were too busy weighing ants. We've avoided opening doors of opportunities because we thought we weren't good enough. Now imagine a world where no potential is wasted, where all of us, as individuals, communities, and society, work to become better versions of ourselves day after day. I'll leave you with the same words of encouragement that my mother used to say to me. Stick with it. Gambate.